Now I'm yet to create my steps. Eventually I'm going to have some steps to get up on this blooming high truck. But at the moment, all I've got is a ladder. And my plan is, since it's been a very successful little crane, and I'm very impressed with it actually, I'm going to actually give it a bit of a retrofit and make some pallets so I can lift 2 boxes at a time and stack them along the front. Well, I have to stack them that way rather than crossways, I suppose. Maybe you could stack them crossways, but I don't know how it'll work. I think they'd be too long. Then you have to make 3s and 2s, and that could be weird, because then I can't add up then, can I? Because you can fit 5 across, but not 6. Anyway, so I'm clambering up here. Oh! John would be pleased to know that some of my overspray is starting to wear off, so you can't see where I'd badly done this job. I'm going to change this chain too, because that hurts when it bashes you in the head. My plan is I'm going to put some hungry hooks on here. If you don't know what they are, when you've got your forklift and you want to have an extender hook, you just make them slip over these little spikes. So I'm going to make it so they can slip over these little blades, and then I make a little hook, and then I'll have another leg either side. So I'll have 4 legs, because my thinking is, rather than changing this completely to my double pallet idea, I figure it can slide on here and be for 2 boxes on a pallet or 1 box without the pallet. So that could be the fact that I'm not overconfident that my idea will work, but you've got to be in it to win it, as they say. We've got to go and find the wood yet, so that'll be the next fun. At least I brought my lucky charm along, so we should be all good. I just give you one job to help me along the way. Oh, come on! Some resources would be helpful. Wouldn't it be a bad idea? Oh, gosh. The lad's been waiting for me for a little while, because I can't find the jolly driver to put these screws in this project that we're working on. Today, boys and girls, we're going to have a crack at making some pallets. Because, of course, as you go through this insanity, you get a crane, and then you think, maybe if I put 2 bee boxes on the one thing, then I could actually lift 2 at a time, and I'd be half as quick to unload. Since it's kind of early in my beekeeping journey in the grand scheme of it all, I've decided that I can't really afford a fork truck and a 4 pallet system, but I've got a little crane, so I'm going to make a 2 pallet system. And I figure eventually, if I ever do get a forklift, then I can make the 2 pallets into 4 pallets, and then I can have a 4 pallet, 2 pallet system, and then I'll be all good. Whew, and if you weren't confused before you started listening to that, well, you probably are now. But anyway, over here we have 2 prototypes that I'm going to show you. Oh, old man bending. Now, of course, if you were starting completely from scratch, you would probably make a pallet base, which was actually the base of your bee box, and then you put your boxes on top of that. But I am not at the start of the start, so I'm actually trying to utilise the resources that I've already got. So I'm going to make a little pallet stand that is going to use the bottom bases that I already own. So, and then I figure if the crane can't lift the bloody 2 things, well, then I can go back to just 1 bee box, which will be interesting after making 100 frames. But anyway, if that happens, you're all sworn to secrecy, okay? Prototype number 1 over here. So I started off with this idea, and I thought, well, that's not too terrible. So I'm figuring the bases could sit on like this. And I'm allowed a little bit of slop, because none of my bases are uniformed, of course. I mean, nothing in my life's very uniformed. And I figure so we can have the 2 there together. This is all going to end up, oh, quite heavy, but still. Anyway, might hear a major groan from the crane when we get to that point. But the only problem I had with this idea, I thought, how the hell am I going to strap them down? Maybe they could probably just sit there. But then I kind of like having a strap to hold the lid on and hold them all together. Because, you know, if you pull your bee boxes out in the field when there's sheep and cows and well, if you're in America, there's bears, but I don't know whether a strap's going to slow them bears down. Some of the footage I've seen of that is pretty intense. I saw a blooming bee-box super thrown up in the top of a pine tree by a bear, and I thought, man, I'm glad all we've got is kangaroos. Bugger that. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So anyway, I thought we need to be able to make a strap. So I went, I don't like that. So that got, nah. Ugh. And then we have prototype number 2. So I've got some cross members that I can actually run the strap around. So for this prototype, I've used the same size board for the legs as I did for the frame, but I kind of like the idea of the fat legs as the base. Fat legs? Anyway, I should measure them so you'd actually know, because fat and skinny went to war. That does not make any sense in the measuring department, does it? So just hold on a minute. These skinny boards are roughly 40 centimetres. I have no clue what that is in inches, but anyway, Google that crap on your phone. 40 centimetres, and the fat boards are 50 centimetres, or thereabouts. And that means I can put them on that wider edge and get the similar height, but a wider edge. So, because I mean, if you go that way on that board, it's 70, so it's still would be higher with the thinner legs. I just kind of like the idea of this being a bit more stable and wider, and maybe for when you're stacking it on the truck, it might be better, and it may be, I don't know, it maybe it'll wear better. Who knows? You know what? In a couple of years' time, we'll all know together. They'll all be in a bloody big pile on the wood heap if they don't work, or there'll be more of them get made as we expand this insanity. Can I go inside now and have a coffee? No. Okay. Anyway, so the plan is today that we're going to make some pallets, and you're going to get to see my woodworking skill. Because a bloke with this particular model has to actually cut all of these bits inside of here exactly the right height. Or length, for that matter. Length, height. See, I'm already in trouble. But the next drama a bloke has is this top quality wood that I'm recycling is all a bit bent and buckled. Because this is from my neighbour's place. He used to be a huge table grape grower, and he's pulled all his table grapes out, and he's ended up with all this beautiful old redwood that he was cutting up for firewood. And I was driving past his place and thought, you know what? A beekeeper named the Bush Bee Man might be able to bloody make use of that stuff. So we went and saw the lad, and he said, yeah, you can have some piles of that stuff. And anyway, he was very accommodating, very concerned about me when I turned up with my little trailer. And he said, go home and get a truck, you idiot. So I did, and because it weighed a lot more than I thought. Bit of longevity notepad. Doing my bit for the planet, you see. I'm recycling cardboard. Should I tear it off there? Have I got a pair of scissors somewhere ready? Too late. Right, now, the thing is, we're making it the length of 2 boxes. So that's basically 820 or 82 centimetres or 820 millimetres. Do you reckon we should try and draw it? What do you reckon? What the hell? Let's do that. Wouldn't that be funny? So we're going to go there like that. And then apparently you have to do a little tiddly bit up there. And then we're going to go 1,200 millimetres. Because the professional people don't use centimetres, they use millimetres. Because I have no idea why you'd have to add the extra 0, but you just have to. No? You don't believe me.
Isn't 8,200 8 metres and 200 centimetres? 8.2
Oh,
metres?
he's probably right. Maybe we've got an extra 0. Hang on, we'll cross that off. Otherwise, we might be making pallets the whole size of the truck. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? I knew what I meant anyway, smart ass. 820, not 8,200. Oh, stop it, you giggle pot. I've failed in my direction giving straight away. I reckon we're going to try just for 3 prongs. I don't know what I worked out they were going to be. They were going to be 30, I reckon. 30? Do you reckon we want to... What the hell have I got there in the inside edge? How smart are you? I think it was 30. We'll measure another one. Looks like 30. It was meant to be 30. Not 300 either, by the way, just 30. Shut up.
Are you talking about millimetres or centimetres?
I guess it would be 300 millimetres.
300 millimetres.
Oh, bloody hell, you're technical. Right, and then now the bottom struts, standy up bits, are about 50, which I figure is going to be under the length of this particular box, which is 530 or 53 or I don't know, whatever. So when you stack them on the truck, my theory is that the legs underneath here won't be protruding, so when you put the next box on top of each other, they'll actually stack a little bit nice. I'm assuming going forward one day we'll make it all a bit flush and it can all stack beautiful, but At the moment, it's a bit Rhapsody's rule here in the bush camp, so we're trying to make it work, so bear with me. All right, here we go. Right. What the hell is that doing?
Because it's not fitting in the grooves. See those wood planks?
Oh, God, yes, that's because I made it for the other thing. Fuck. No, because this bloody original silly people, I put this extra chock on here to help the strap, of course. But I didn't, when I made this one, I didn't actually use these. I used a different base. So now I've discovered that that base sits up on top of there instead of in there. Shit! Oh, that's just not on, is it? Oh, I suppose. At least I haven't got 100 of them made and I've got to that point. Oh, God. Now what are we going to do? Maybe we have to do the upside one on the side. Because that was my other thought, was you could have that one up on its edge. Shut up, you. God. Far out. Maybe that would work if we put that. If we, instead of having them on the flat edge, we have them up like that. And we could just have that at the end. And then that would accommodate for that bit. Because that would still fit in there. And it would give us something to tie to. And it would be stronger. And there's a solution right there. So, this is what they call construction on the run. Shit. Idiot. Now it's going to be in the wrong spot if I twist that around. Right. Prototype number 764. Tape 27. Or something like that. Do you reckon we're going to... I guess we should keep that on board, just in case. Now, this is the finger munching machine. That's the finger planer. Don't put your finger on that thing when it's spinning its tits off. It is not friendly. I tried to take the edge of my finger off. Can't really tell anymore, but it's a little bit crooked and it still hurts like crap when it's cold, which it is this morning. So that's why I'm thinking about it. It's just going to be for these first few as a prototype to see if we ever continue with it. And then I'll probably go and buy myself a proper blooming saw bench, drop down saw thing to cut them. And so we've got one pack that's going to be the thicker boards and two packs that are going to be the thinner boards, because I thought we might need a few more of them. But I'm trying my best to, when I make the runners that way, to pick some beams that aren't too bent. This here will be a much better one for making the runner part. It wouldn't matter except for the fact that we've got those little gaps in the middle that were on the wrong spot a minute ago, those 30mm ones. So I'm looking here and I'm going to say, right, that's going to be one of the ones we'll cut in half for the long bits, and these bits we'll cut up for the short bits. And if we have a little crappy bit at the end that's too bent, we'll, I guess it'll go in the pizza oven and we'll figure that shit out later. So even the straight ones aren't actually straight, but for the purpose of the project, it's going to be okay. I'm telling myself it's going to be okay anyway. Everybody stay positive, that's the plan. Back to the finger munching machine. I think I'm going to nickname this saw the Pinky Devourer, or the Pinky Chomper, or the Pinky Mincer maybe. Maybe this is the Pinky Mincer machine. Well, anyway, I'll safely place my boards on the ground. Shit, remember which is which. What do we want? We want the thicker one. We'll do the thicker one first. Now, if we were getting really motivated, we'll start at this end because this is the nice end. We might not actually need that daggy end because we're going to have to do some, what did we say? 3 lots at 500, didn't we? Rightio, so if we go with that, we go 500 there. Right, shall we put on the muncher machine? Oh, I can feel my finger bleeding already. Let's not do that today while you're all watching me. Now, boys and girls, this is a good reason why you should have a nice clean workshop to work in, not fucking shit everywhere. God. Stop it. Turn the camera off for a minute. My gosh. You don't need to tell everybody what a ruffian I am. They already know I'm a bit of a ruffian if they've watched more than one show. Does it help if you stamp your foot? When you're a little kid, it helps if you stamp your foot. Coffee. Right, we try that again. Just pretend none of that actually happened. Try to make it square, it'll be good. Right, here we go. We ready? Hey,
You don't think you'd measure it all at once, would you?
no, that'd be too good. Then you have to work it out how thick the blade is. Don't be such a smart ass. You know what? Probably be safer if the bloke got outside with a chainsaw. That'd probably be safer. I know why the bloke gave this away. Oh, set. Gonna be the right one. And we get the little dag bit at the end. You reckon we can measure them all at the same time? It'd probably be more sense, wouldn't it? But... okay, one thing at a time. Contemplation. I think we might just make one, and then I don't know how to actually... What have we got here that weighs a bit? We can find out how much it all weighs. 2 bee boxes, 1 pallet, 1 poor unfortunate crane that wasn't designed to lift all that weight. I guess we could use these for the base legs so they don't go rotten so quick, and then use some pine for the top bit if all else failed. That might work too. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. I just thought redwood and bloody shit wouldn't go off so quick. Don't you hate it when you start second guessing yourself when you're halfway through something? It's only because you lot are all here. So our map says we've got 8,200, or actually as a correction, it was actually only 820. Just as well the lads here, otherwise we'd all have all sorts of trouble. So, smarty pants, you reckon we're going to do two lines at 82, and what's 2 82s?
16.4.
That's what I would have thought. That's what I made it.
1600.
Yeah, well, 8 and 8 is 16. Yeah. And 20 and 20 is 40.
Yeah, 1640.
Look at us go. Shit, we're clever. Our maths teachers would be so proud of us. Didn't even have to get the calculator out. Oh. Right. They're nearly the same. Maybe we'll make them the same. Well, okay, so we're not that clever after all. Actually, the board's crooked, that's the thing. You see, look at that. I think it's bloody gonna matter that much anyway. The next part, when it has to actually be perfect, it'll be a problem. No, I'm not even gonna do that. We'll break something, including me. Does that look straight? Not really. If you have one piece of board, if you're going to use a piece of board as your measuring stick, just stay with the first one that actually, or one actual board. Don't cut one and then use the next one and then the next one and the next one, and you just keep using it always ends in tears because you just can't get it perfect. So you keep your original by putting a 0 on it and a cross through it, and then you can say that's number 1. I suppose you could put a 1 on it. Like that too, see? But anyway. All right. Shit! Okay, maybe you have to pull all off, do you? Is that the bit? What the heck? Never be a tradie, will I? I can't even get the bloody screws open. Come on! There we go. Right. Bastard. Right, so we've got our screws. I've got 2 different lengths. I decided to go for these blooming flathead scrooby jigs that actually disappear. They're supposed to be self-tapping. They've got a little bit of a cutting edge there, but being that this wood is a little bit gnarly, it doesn't cut in real flash. But anyway, I've got these ones for the ends that are going to go in there. And, well, I don't know, I might even, although I think I've changed the design that we were going with now. So, and I've got some longer ones that are going down that way, or going all the way through there. I don't know, which way are we going to go? We're going to go down there or down there? Yes. So we'll use up these first. Right, so I don't really know what you should use exactly, but I've decided these are going to work for me. So feel free to ad-lib on your own screw designs. Just remember, bloody things have to be waterproof. Don't go using crappy ass internal screws. Just make sure that decking screws are there. At least got some sort of thing on here that says for outdoor use. Otherwise they go rusty and then they just split the wood, and then the whole purpose of the exercise is a little bit of a lost cause, which I've had happen in my bee boxes themselves. These are the first pallets I've ever made. So if you're wondering, I've got myself a little bit of angle iron that I've just tech screwed to my bench, so I've got something to push against, because I started off trying to put them up right this way, and you have to get all excited and make a really fancy ass jig to do that. But I'm not that fancy. So all I did was measure from the edge of my bench, stuck a bit of angle iron here so I could push against something, because I haven't got a teammate to push against. And I've got it just sitting over the edge of the bench this side. So as when I drill it, and then I can just drill my pilot hole, stick my screw in there, and hey presto, it's all hooked together. So this is actually my pallet, and it's upside down at the moment. So what I'm going to do, these are the base legs, so we're going to take them out the way. And I've measured along here to find out where the middle of these two is. So we've got it, because it's an 82 or 820, so it's 41 in the middle. And then I want to go for the width of the board that I've got down in here. So you want to have 4 centimetres either side of the middle mark. So then you can get this piece of wood in the middle. Now, just for entertainment's sake, I've actually put myself a bit of a front of my old bee box in the base here, so that when I screw this bottom one on, it's not going to be totally on the bottom, and it's not going to be totally on the top. It's going to be basically in the middle of this board. These end ones are going to be horizontal, and this one here I've got in here vertical. You may ask why a bloke would do that. It's just mainly so as that we get a bit more stability, and we can get the strap through the bottom of the top, because some of my older bee boxes are a bit of a wonky ass design. I need to actually keep that inside this bit and over top of that bit. So I don't know. Anyway, if you got really excited, you could get yourself a square, but I'm a bit slack, so I've just got a bit of wood. And I've just used the piece of wood that I'm actually going to put on the bottom, and I've just tapped the end, so I've got it all sort of straightened up. But if you really got motivated, you could do something a bit more professional than that. But anyway, I'm sure when you're in your proper workshop, you'll do something a bit more snazzy, but still, we could get really excited and measure up and down here and make it exactly perfect in the middle of this bit of wood. But I don't think we need to get that excited for this project. We're just going to have a little bit of line up with our eyeballs and drill a pilot hole. That is hard wood. Or it's a terribly blunt drill. It's a metal drill. Drilling wood is not ideal. But the only thing is, I looked for a wooden drill and they didn't make one the right size. I would think if you're using just modern modern sort of pine that's not got a bit of moisture in it, these drill bits, you probably can just, because they're meant to cut their own way, supposed to make their own hole, using gnarly old dry 40-year-old wood that's probably nearly as old as me, it's a little bit more likely to split. So I like to drill a pilot hole to give it a bit of a chance. I'll just go and get some power, and we'll put a screw in that, and then we'll go along and do the pilot holes this side and turn it around and do the holes the other side, and away we go. Oh, that's when you do your bloody wristing. Anybody that's ever done that, when they've got their drill hooked, it goes zam and rips your friggin' wrist off. That's never friendly. That's not a friendly option. Not a friendly option at all, young John. I think I might need a bit more extreme drill than this bloody thing. But anyway, if we do a lot of these, I might get a bit better setup. Hell, it wouldn't be much good if I had to do it by hand, would I? With the old winch thing. Oh, those old bloody hand drills would try out, wouldn't they, with this project? Phew. It's going to be a bit crap if we lose all the electricity disappears one day, isn't it? Oh, crap. Right. This is what happens when you use old crooked wood. But anyway. And in the middle, wherever the middle is, where's the middle? About there? Is that the middle? Ooh. That's a bit different to a bit of crappy pine. Okay, now we want to turn it around. So obviously we're going to have to take that bit out of there. And these two bits out of there. Try not to put it in there the wrong way up. That would be silly. How am I going to do that so clever? Any bright thoughts? Fuck it, I don't know. That should be alright, surely. I guess after it's wiggled and wraggled and been around the countryside a few times, it'll sort of loosen up and be into it. What do you reckon? I'll just push them a little bit further now. I've got a bit of stability. Maybe the bench isn't actually square. That might be part of my problem. I reckon what we're going to do is we're going to have it in about the width of the board from the outside edge, which is about 7 mils. Roughly that. But the next question is, being that this is going to be on the ground, do we drill down through this board into this board, or do we put the screw at the bottom upwards? Because I'm just thinking if we have that screw and it's basically in the ground, will that actually be like a wick and just draw the moisture up through it? Or will it not matter? Because we've got a couple of holes in our wood anyway. Hello! I've been screwed. Anyway, right. Now, that is so wobbly donkey. Oi, don't move. I think we need to get a wooden drill. I wonder if that's how they made firework. You know, when they used to get their little stick and rub the bloody stick together. How friggin' enthusiastic would you have to be? You'd be bloody cold, you'd get enthusiastic real quick, wouldn't you? It's a bit like back in the day when I don't know if anybody remembers the days before bloody tech screws, when you had to use pop rivets instead of tech screws, and if you drilled a few holes and you put your pop rivet in and you didn't get the jolly things exactly perfect, your holes wouldn't jolly well line up. With the tech screw, you just and don't bloody matter so much. But back in the day, you actually had to be a little bit blooming precise with your blooming pop rivets. They were painful, they were, but so ever who invented the tech screw was a champion, I reckon. Well, there we go. Hopefully, that's a bit of a plan. We might wander out to the truck and have a look to see what the little fork machine thinks about that. We're probably going to have to make the prongs just a little bit longer, but anyway, that's all right. That's not too hectic. Well, this could be quite an involved little project if I've got to make a couple hundred of these. Oh, fuck. The handbrake works anyway. Right, now, Mr. deCaux, what do you reckon? What are we going to put on there to weigh it down? Do you think we should put something on there? How much does a bee box weigh?
What if you put yourself on there?
Well, I could. What do I weigh? A bit over 100 kilos. But if it lifts me, we'll be all good. I think we will have a look at the crane though. If the crane starts falling off the truck, we'll know it's a bad idea, won't we? Oh! Oh, hell. I guess we should know before we make hundreds of these bloody things anyway, shouldn't we? If a bloke had a fancy easy loader, we might not have to worry about it. Or a forklift for that matter, but anyway, you can't have everything. I reckon I might get on the ground before I try it out though. What do you think? Oh. Thank you all for coming. It's been a very lovely demonstration. As you can see, the thing goes up and down and just off you go now, or you find out whether it works. Golly. I don't know that I want to do this with everybody watching me. But I got to find out somehow. Oh, it feels lighter now it's dried out. It'll be interesting to see if our prongs are long enough. That'll be the next thing. Because I don't reckon they're going to be quite enough. Are they? Well, they would be if I didn't have that other beam in there. That'd be right. Perhaps we don't even need the middle one. We might not actually even need that middle one. What do you reckon? It'll still be pretty stable, just with two. Before I get excited and try and do myself a damage, I'll just lift it up. Okay, what do you reckon? Hell, I don't know whether I should stand on it or not. Do you reckon that'll collapse? Blooming heck, John. It's making the whole truck wobble. Oh, shit. I got a better idea. Hang on. It's not going to work if I just do a little bit. Hang on. I don't like that. Wait there. Nobody move. I have another idea. Let's see if I can find the remote control. Bloody hell. Oh, what did I do with it, John? Heck, everything gets tangled up. Struth. Sorry about my plumber's crack. Maybe that way round. That way round. Shit. Oh, did it operate? That's good. God. Come on, old body. You can do it. Help. Are we ready? Just watch it bend. Now. Whoa. Is it going to break? Don't be like that. It's cost a fortune. Whoa, I'm sort of off the ground. No, I think I'm too fat. How much would a bee box weigh? Oh, bloody hell, John. No? Oh! Cut! Whoa! It's like a ride show. Well, it didn't break. Shit. I don't think it's designed to do this somehow. It's not designed for fat beekeepers. I think it might be alright though. So the plan is that we'll be at the back of the bee boxes here. And if we didn't have that little lug there, I reckon we'd almost get away with it. Stop it. We'd almost not have to add too much to it. Oh, not that high. Stop it. Oh. And we'll just pop them in there like that. Bloody hell. I think it'll work. I don't know. It sort of lifted me, but I'm a bit afraid that that beam there is a problem. I don't know how many tons that's meant to carry, but not me. I don't know. I think I might weigh more than 100 kilos. But the good thing about this, besides all of that excitement, I reckon if we have a slightly different design, that'll get rid of 5 kilos anyway. I suppose if we went over the shed, we could weigh this bloody thing and we could work this out. But sitting up on the edge a bit. We did manage to break the crane, so that's a good start. We've got one pallet on the truck. We've had a little bit of conversation about how we're going to implement this into the system, so we've come up with a solution. We're going to have, I don't know, go home and make sort of 20 of them and then put them into the program and see how we go with stacking them and how it all fits in. We might end up with some for the bottom layer and the single ones on the top, or you know what, this is the joys of beekeeping. It just evolves one little day at a time, and you never know. Well, I do actually know. You're going to all find out when I find out, because that seems to be how this happens on this show.